FC Barcelona attacker Rafinha was the man of the match during his team's 4-1 victory over Bayern Munich. With a hat-trick, the Brazilian stole the show but insisted that he and his mates were not out on some sort of mission for redemption. It was revenge for the fans, I think. Rafinha said, as captured by Epinen. For us on the inside, the players, we don't look at the past. We focus on the next game, but I suffered those games as a fan too. It's been an amazing, special night, scoring a hat-trick on my 100th game for the club. I am very happy with the performance and how we played. As a team, we played really well, and that's the most important thing for me. Getting that second win in the Champions League was important. Rafael Leo reportedly left the ground just 15 minutes full-time after his disappointing involvement during Milan's 3-1 victory over Club Brugge in the Champions League on Tuesday night, but the Rossoneri are willing to stick by their highest paid player through the tough times, according to La Gazzetta dello Sport. Substitute Jonathan David scored twice as Lille stunned Atletico Madrid with a 3-1 comeback win on Wednesday to make it 2 memorable Champions League victories in a row. Lille have now beaten a second Madrid team in consecutive match days after also stunning holders Real Madrid 1-0 earlier in October. Atletico took the lead in the 8th minute with Julian Alvarez intercepting a weak back pass from Lille defender Elsmain Toure and slotting in for the lead. There was more bad news for Lille when they had to take off injured midfielder Ramai Kabela in the 16th minute, bringing in Idan Jagrova, but they avoided further pain as Alexander Sorloth wasted 3 golden scoring opportunities in the first half. The visitors punished Atleti by levelling in the 61st minute as Jagrova whipped in a superb left-footed shot into the top far corner. Lille then scored again to seal their comeback courtesy of a 74th minute penalty by David, who had also scored the winner against Real. The Canadian then added another goal with a deflected effort in the 89th to lift Lille to 6 points. Atletico, meanwhile, are on 3 with just 1 win from their 3 games so far. Bayern Munich were hammered 4-1 by a clinical Barcelona side on matchday 3 of the Champions League at the Estadi Montjuic. The Catalan club opened the scoring in the very first minute with a goal from Rafinha, after which Bayern responded with an equaliser from Harry Kane in the 18th minute. The score didn't stand level for long as Robert Lewandowski restored the lead for the hosts. Rafinha later went on to score 2 more either side of the half to put the game beyond Bayern. This loss sees the Bavarian club drop down to 23rd in the points table. Bayern were off to a flying start with a 9-2 rout at Dinamo Zagreb, but the 2 games after that against Aston Villa and Barcelona have resulted in bitter defeats. While Neuer's goalkeeping standards have been declining over the last year, Bayern Munich's 4-1 loss to Barcelona may have been his lowest point this season. The German faced 4 shots on target and conceded 4 times, and was also the reason for a number of mistakes in the backline. Kiblo has now advised Neuer to consider retirement, folded in bitter defeats. Speaking on Sky Sports, Kiblo said, "When some goalkeepers reach a certain age, they should have the courage to retire." Perhaps with one eye on continued European and domestic success, Aston Villa have made an official bid for Barcelona's Ferran Torres. The Midlands ace outfit have already shown what they're capable of this season, with Bundesliga giants Bayern Munich being dispatched in the Champions League. Unai Emery has also signalled his intent in terms of what he expects from himself and his squad, which bodes well for supporters of the club. Chelsea are reportedly looking to save themselves, spending a significant chunk of change in January by looking at a far cheaper alternative to Victor Osimhen. The Blues were heavily linked with Osimhen in the summer as the Nigerian angled for a move away from Napoli. A report in Spain claims the Blues bosses have now turned their attention to a young striker making waves in La Liga. Christentus Uch has enjoyed a meteoric rise in the past 12 months, having spent last season at Spanish third-tier side Ceuta. Getafe beat off interest from Real Betis to sign the 21-year-old for just £400,000, and after he scored on debut in a 1-1 draw with Athletic Bilbao, which has started all 10 league games for the club since. Chelsea have reportedly already asked about the Nigerian, who can play as the central striker or slightly deeper, with his versatility and ability to create as well as score goals, making him an attractive prospect for the Blues. Juventus have had some preliminary contacts with the entourage of Lorenzo Luca to see if there's a chance for him to transfer in January. Udinese would rather keep him until the end of the season, when his valuation will likely be higher. Still, they could be open for business with the right offer, Tuttosport informs. Barcelona's recent 4-1 win over Bayern Munich in the Champions League indicated that something special is indeed brewing in Catalonia. This makes it ever so important for the club to secure the future of their star players, including Pedri. The young Spaniard has been the beating heart of the Barcelona midfield this season, not only taking a leadership role but also offering creativity and stability in the middle of the park. Pedri's brilliant start to the season has prompted Barcelona to step up their effort to renew his contract, which expires in 2026. Atletico Madrid coach Diego Simon was left raging by some of the decisions made by Italian referee Marco Gaida during their 3-1 loss at home to LOSC Lille in the Champions League on Wednesday night, labelling some of the officials' decisions as hallucinating. The most controversial call came when the scores were level at 1-1. Atletico were defending a set piece in their own area, and while the ball ricocheted around the box, it eventually bounced and struck Lille midfielder Benjamin Andre on his hand. Gaida, however, appeared to get the call the wrong way around and awarded a penalty in favour of Lille instead. Somewhat inexplicably, VAR did not intervene. Jonathan David stepped up to dispatch a routine penalty past Jenna Black in the Atletico net. Former Rangers striker Alfredo Morelos has been arrested on suspicion of drink driving after a motorcyclist was seriously injured in a horror crash in Colombia. The controversial 28-year-old allegedly caused a collision as he attempted to overtake a truck by crossing into the opposite lane of a road in the early hours of Wednesday morning. The truck was also damaged in the 3-vehicle smash, while the motorcyclist was rushed to San Vicente Foundation Hospital for treatment after suffering broken limbs and abdominal trauma. Robert Lewandowski praised manager Hansi Flick after scoring in Barcelona's Champions League win over Bayern Munich. The striker had a good night against his former club as Flick guided his team to an impressive 4-1 victory at Montjuic. Here's what Lewandowski made of a great night for the Catalans. Hansi always has a recipe. We believe in him, he believes in us. He told DAZN he always manages to find a balance between experienced players and young players so that we all move together in the same direction. Atletico Madrid Ultra Group Friend Atletico have announced a passive protest for their Champions League tie with Lille on Wednesday evening. After a partial stadium ban saw the singing section banned against Leganes on Sunday, the ban came after objects were repeatedly thrown at Real Madrid goalkeeper Thibaut Courtois. They announced on Twitter that they would not be adding their sound to the game as a result of the constant attacks from all of the National Madridismo, the same attacks that are accepted and bought by part the Atletico world. As such, we are not looking for any confrontation, and we hope that the team can feel backed with the support from the rest of the stadium. Our attitude will be passive. Former Milan striker Hernan Crespo has given his verdict on the situation surrounding Rafael Leo in San Siro, explaining that the Portugal international appears confused and lacking in maturity. Leo has been cast under the spotlight again in recent weeks. The scrutiny intensified when he was hauled off just shy of the hour mark during Milan's 3-1 win over Club Brugge in the Champions League on Tuesday night. Milan had originally taken the lead, but then conceded an equaliser at the start of the second half, despite the fact that Brugge were playing with 10 men. Leo went off after 57 minutes and the team got themselves back in front almost immediately. Arne Slot and Mikel Arteta have plenty to ponder ahead of Sunday's clash between Liverpool and Arsenal, with both sides having a host of absentees. William Saliba will definitely miss out through suspension, and there are serious doubts about Martin Odegaard, who's been out with an ankle injury, as well as Bukayo Saka because of his hamstring troubles. Regarding Odegaard's chances of playing against Liverpool, Arteta was rather doubtful, saying, "I don't think so. Martin is frustrated and desperate to return, but hopefully this period will teach him some things that are important in life." The situation worsened for the Gunners when Ricardo Calafiori had to leave the pitch during the Shakhtar Donetsk clash due to a knee issue.